Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the St. Thomas Dynasty here on NCAA 14. This is John J Gaming on the mic, and today we are going over the season recap, checking out some stuff around the league, as well as, how we did over the course of the season before we go into Season 6. And let's go check out the St. Thomas schedule, man. So things didn't start off very well for us whatsoever. We lost by 20 points to Tulane, and it wasn't even close whatsoever. But we turned it around instantly. We beat Illinois, who was ranked in the top 10 at the time. Then got on a 3-game winning streak after that, beating Georgia State, beating Bowling Green in overtime, as well as beating Akron on the road. We do lose 2 in a row to Central Michigan as well as Ball State, and then actually beat Northern Illinois, who was ranked at some point as well, for losing to Eastern Michigan. Beat against Western Michigan, beat Toledo, and then ended our season with a really rough one. Just couldn't, anything that could have went wrong against Army went wrong against Army. It was our worst game of the season. It's really disappointing that our regular season had to end that way. And especially because we don't even get to go to a bowl game, even though we're 7-5. And yes, I am still pissed about that, 100%. Like, if you're 7-5, you should be able to go to a bowl game. But shoot, that's just the way it is sometimes, man. That is just the way it is. Checking out the season stats for our guys, though, and Kyle Luck, he came in, had probably the best season that a St. Thomas quarterback has had to date at the school. I think he's definitely better than Jesse Wallen. I'm gonna say that right now. He was 265, threw over 400 passes, had over 3,000 yards passing, 16 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Most of those interceptions, at least 3 of them, were against Army. So before that TD interception ratio was so much higher. Calvin Calcutti and John Wilson both came in mainly when Kyle Luck was hurt. And they split time because they both bring different things to the table. John Wilson is a pocket passer, no speed, but can swing the ball well, whereas Calvin Calcutti, he was more of a running quarterback for us, ran mostly options for us. We did throw a few passes with him just to try to keep them off balance. But the quarterback play has been significantly better. It's been the best this Dynasty has seen so far. The running game, though, the running game's seen some huge improvement as well. Denny Dilkins, a senior redshirt OG walk-on, has his best season to date. Denny Dilkins, he comes in with over 750 yards rushing, a best season yet. 15 rushing touchdowns as well, which is absolutely insane. And then only fumbled the ball once. Kyle Luck did his thing as well, man. He had almost 300 yards on the ground with 9 touchdowns. Brett Jones was able to get in for a touchdown as well during that last game against Army. Now the receivers, actually this whole offense, took a huge step forward. It was putrid at the beginning of last season, but ever since, it's taken a huge step up, and a lot of it has to do with Andre Luck. Andre Luck came and performed. 76 catches, 1,100 yards, and 7 touchdowns to his name on the season. He did have more drop passes, but he was also relied on to, make more plays, because he was getting open more often. Alex Garcia also, had a really impressive freshman campaign. He had 52 catches, over 600 yards, 3 touchdowns. He looks like he can potentially be a #1 option for us at wide receiver next season. Mark McDaniel in his senior campaign was able to, have his best season. He had it's equal to his sophomore year, but he was a consistent guy. He had 3 touchdowns too. Dilkins caught a touchdown out of the backfield, from that passing game. Andrew Green, had 4 touchdowns, and then Adrian Allen, our tight end, who's known for the blocking, he was able to get done with the catching as well to a degree. He had a couple of touchdown grabs as well. And got a lot of different receivers involved in the passing game as well, so I'm pretty happy about that. So then here comes his defense, and here's a guy that we're definitely going to miss. Derek Jackson led the team in tackles, and it wasn't even close. He had 86 total tackles in his senior campaign, 7 for a loss, had 1 interception to his name as well. He was a leader on our defense, and we're definitely going to miss him. Same with Jeff Arnold, same with Aaron Rodgers. You know, a lot of these guys that either were an OG walk-on or a part of the first recruiting class, they're going to graduate this season that are, you know, now starters. One notable player that is going back, you know, Eric Bradshaw. He had 53 tackles, and he looked really good doing it too. He had 9 TFLs. You know, a lot of good stuff from his defense. Speaking of good stuff, we got to the quarterback a lot this season again, led by the tandem of Chris Hill, who did move over to defensive end after William Swan graduated. He led the team with 8 sacks. Josh Parker had 7 sacks as well. And then, you know, Glenn Robertson, Jared Odom, and Adam Wright were able to bring the quarterback down in the backfield as well. Eric Bradshaw, like I said, man, is a force. And I didn't know this until just now. Eric Bradshaw had 4 interceptions this season. That, you know, so for the first season of playing on the field, that is extremely great to see. Corey Fitzpatrick had multiple interceptions as well, and Aaron Rodgers and Derek Jackson, like I said, you know, got their hands on the ball, so can't complain whatsoever. Tyler Graham forced 1 fumble, and Aaron Rodgers picked up a fumble. And we didn't have any defensive touchdowns. I thought we did, but I guess I was mistaken. But, you know, that's fine. You know, the defense overall, we had more turnovers than we did last season. So, you know, definitely cool with that. You know, it was a great season, man. And it sucks that we didn't get to prove it in the bowl game, because we don't get invited to bowl games, apparently. Speaking of bowl season, let's go ahead and look around, see how some results around the country. Eastern Michigan lost in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl to Boise State by 17 points. I was really hoping to go to that one, because it's a great bowl game for the memes. You know, get, you know, a basket of of potatoes if you win. But, you know, just kind of looking around, see what's notable. Wyoming actually is ranked, and they beat Oregon State in the Mako Bowl. You know, they won 27-24 as Wyoming improves to number 19 in the country. So that's a great season for them. Cincinnati, the Bearcats, go to the Holiday Bowl and beat Arizona State 44-24. Bearcats moving up to number 18 in the country. You love to see it. UCF wins the Russell Athletic Bowl against Virginia Tech 38-17 and go up, finish number 17 in the final poll. Notre Dame beats Iowa 30-7. New Mexico gets ranked at the very end. They win in the Armed Forces Bowl against UTEP 43-21. UConn is number 13. You know, if it's a video game, when UConn is really good, they beat Oregon in the Fight Hunger Bowl. Arizona beat Kansas State in the Alamo Bowl. Indiana in another shootout with West Virginia. I think they were in a shootout with either Auburn or Alabama in a bowl game last year, and Indiana won. And that's the same thing here. They beat West Virginia in a shootout. They win by 1 touchdown by the final score of 49-42. Missouri takes care of Syracuse in the Music City Bowl. Arkansas win the Liberty Bowl against the UAB, baby, 31-21, finishing number 25 in the country. See, this is the thing. Like, Arkansas is 7-6 and they get ranked, but we have a similar record as Arkansas and we can't even go to a bowl game. Whack. Just absolute whack. Chick-fil-A Bowl, 35-28. Ole Miss wins that. Clemson is unranked, so they're definitely missing Trevor Warren and company. Illinois does win the Gator Bowl. We did beat those guys earlier in the season. Ohio State won the Heart of Dallas Bowl again. South Carolina beat Michigan in the first Outback Bowl matchup between these two teams since Davion Clowney lit up that Michigan running back. That led to another South Carolina victory. Alabama tears up Northwestern in the Capital One Bowl. Oklahoma won the Rose Bowl against Auburn. USC beats the Michigan State Spartans 35-30 in the Battle of Spartans vs. Trojans. Wisconsin beats the Heisman winner from North Carolina 52-24 in the All-State Sugar Bowl. TCU wins the Cotton Bowl against Tennessee. Let's see what else. Stanford pulls the ups. Well, actually, no, they did not. I didn't see what Florida State did. Florida State nearly got upset by Stanford in the Orange Bowl. And then finally in the BCS championship game, Texas beat Georgia by a final score of 49-42. Seems like it was an extremely exciting championship game that went to, it looks like Texas basically walked it off. So that's good for Texas. That's all I have to say. That is a really good way to end a college football season. Moving forward from the season recap going into the actual offseason, we didn't get an extension, but we didn't get fired either, and we didn't lose any of our coaches, so we have the same staff coming back. You love to see it. Gotta have that camaraderie. This is an amazing class that is going to be graduating. This is the best class that we had in St. Thomas since we started this dynasty. Guys like Josh Parker, Josh Sanders on the offensive line, Derek Jackson, a defensive leader, Jeff Arnold, a lot of leaders on this team. Joel White is also graduating. So I know we're gonna have a lot of our offensive starters back. For the defense though, we're gonna have a new set of starters on this team for next season. We're gonna have a drop off on defense. Other guys graduating. Denny Dilkins, a season 1 custom recruit. He's going to graduate He's going to graduate this year. Andre Luck, Kyle Luck's older brother, is going to get that diploma as well. Bobby Football, another custom recruit, he's going to go forth and graduate. Always was in a position to make interceptions, but could never catch them. He had hands like butter. Robert Williams, our punter, is also going to graduate, so hopefully we can get another punter to go and replace him. Chris Hill, another custom recruit, he's going to graduate. He was a force on that defensive line in the 2 years that he was here at St. Thomas. Malachi Jackson is another guy. He played, either that outside linebacker or that middle linebacker position. Moved towards the middle when we moved to that 3-4 defensive scheme. Didn't see the field much senior year, but he's also a custom guy, and we salute you, sir. And then towards the bottom, we have, more like OG walk-ons. Calvin Calcutti, he's actually a custom recruit who was an original walk-on actually, and we're gonna miss him. This was a meme guy, and he certainly has won my heart, and I'm gonna miss him, just like I'm gonna miss all of these seniors on this team, man. I'll tell you what, all of our seniors, we also didn't have any pro draft picks making it to the NFL or for the XFL or the Canadian Football League even. And then transfer requests, we don't have anybody who wants to transfer in, which I was actually kind of shocked about. We had a good season, and we had a lot of defensive starters, so I thought maybe we'll get a few guys, but that's not going to be the case. But it's all good. Let's go ahead and jump into this recruiting, see what we can do, man. Alright, so here we are in recruiting, and I'm not too terribly sure what necessarily to do. I'm gonna trying to focus in on 4 guys. I definitely need Pat Hampton and Joe Cox because they are positions of need. I don't want to bring in walk-ons if I don't have to, but of course I want to also bring in Clayton Harris, and if I have any points left over, I'll put them into Steve Frederick, just to make sure we do what we need to do so that he can bring in. Best case, we bring in all 4 of these guys, but bare minimum, I want to bring in Pat, Joe, and Clayton. If we get Steve too, that's going to be a bonus. So, I'll figure out what I'm going to do with the point distribution, and then I'll come back to you guys when I'm done with that. Alright, so I think this is what I'm going to end up doing. This is the point spread I have. No, things are a little bit off because I didn't realize I didn't have Joe Cox scouted. And, he actually gets bumped up to a 65, so it's even more important that we, get to him just because he is, position of need. And I do not want to have walk-ons on my offensive line. Definitely cannot afford that at this point in the dynasty. As just looking at my point spread, mainly gonna put points into Joe Cox. With over half my points going to him. Hopefully Northwestern doesn't go too hard at him, but we'll see. Clayton Harris, I also put 3,000 points into him. Hopefully that's enough to bring him onto our team as well, since we're the only school that has offered to him a scholarship at this point. And then the other 1,400 points, we are gonna put into Pat Hampton. This will probably mean that Eastern Michigan will sign him, most likely. But if we have a walk-on at punter, you know, it's not the end of the world if that happens, you know. But if you know, if he signs, you know, that's great. We have a better punter going in than a 40 overall punter, obviously. Then Steve Frederick, that just means I don't have any, you know, points for you. If you sign with us, great. If not, it's not the end of the world. Yeah, but yeah, hopefully, you know, let's go ahead, move over to signing day and see what kind of luck we have. Let's see what we got. Alright guys, so we are here at signing day, and we get 2 of the 3 guys that I really wanted. Pat Hampton and Clayton Harris are coming to the squad. Clayton Harris looks like we can play him at cornerback. He will be starting for us right away and be one of the best players on our team from the jump. So, you know, there's that. Unfortunately, Joe Cox does not sign with us though, although it looks like we signed 5 prospects somehow. So I'm just gonna go ahead, you know, check our recruiting board, see, you know, what happened. You know, it looks like it did accidentally sign 3 stars. I don't know who. Looks like we have 3 wide receivers that are, you know, 3-star guys, which okay. Did not put those on there. They must have decided to walk on to the team or something, you know. But this is the best recruiting class that we did bring in though. That we have, you know, 1 stars and 2 stars, and we're not the worst recruiting class in the nation anymore. We're the 2nd worst recruiting class in the nation, and we're a 2-star school, so now we will be able to at least go after 2-star prospects going forward, man. Although we'll still have to initially be around the state of Minnesota before we can go further. If we sign everybody that we can sign, you know, around the state of Minnesota. But, you know, it's at least a step forward. You know, let's check out this recruiting core. I'm genuinely curious, you know, about, well, let's see here. So Steve Frederick, you know, he looks like Iowa State, and, you know, others did put points into him. So, you know, there's no surprise there. Joe Cox, we lost badly. What the heck? How do we go backwards? Northwestern must have put everything they had into Joe Cox, and that's how we ended up losing him. So that's kind of whack. Pat Hampton, though, you know, looks like Eastern Michigan didn't really want him that badly though, so that's cool. And then Clayton Harris, you know, since we were the only scholarship offer, he decides to come to you know, good old St. Thomas. So that means this is going to be our final recruiting class, you know, for, you know, St. Thomas. You know, these are the guys that are going to be, you know, new on the squad. You know how it is, man. If there's somebody on this team that you want to replace, let me know down in the comments. I will have a pinned comment to show you guys what the template is going to be. And yeah, man, whatever person you want to replace, just give me their name, the name that you want to, you know, use to replace that person, and I will make it happen, so long as, you know, it's available as well. And if you want to have a better chance of having, you know, one of these better prospects, I encourage you to join the Discord and Patreon as well, so they get notified first before you guys do. You know, both of those are going to be linked down in the description. Next up, we do have the position changes to figure out, you know, how we want to move across some guys. And it looks like right now, Clayton Harris is the best player on this team. Now, granted, it is before, you know, training camps. I'm sure a few of these guys are going to jump him. But, you know, that says something, you know, about the talent that he's going to bring. And I'm, you know, super excited for him. Thing is, you know, he's even better as a free safety. And you know what? We definitely need a free safety to work with, so I'm gonna put him there, and he moves up to a 77 overall in the process, man. So I definitely love to see that. Let's go ahead, look around though, and see, you know, just, you know, if there's anything else that we can really do. Anjon Johnson is, you know, joining the team. You know, he's a 65 overall, 77 speed. Will serve as the primary backup for Kyle Luck. Another person that I think I'm going to move is Rodney Sanchez. just because we still have a need at guard, and it's something that we're gonna have to try to prioritize next season in recruiting. We only have 2 total guards, Matt Williams and Jarrell Bullock. What I'm gonna go ahead and do then is go ahead, since Rodney Sanchez is not even going to be the best freshman tight end on this team, I'm gonna move him over to right guard. He does take a 6 overall drop, but at least it's slightly better than getting a complete walk-on. And he is a little bit faster. We just got to make sure we work on his awareness, as well as just being an offensive lineman in general. Another thing that I want to do is, since we still need one more middle linebacker, I'm going to go ahead and also move Brett Smart to that middle linebacker position. The reason I'm doing that is because we also have Dale Garrison in the wings, who's slightly, he is a year younger than Brett Smart and is about the same overall. So just going to go ahead and give him more experience so that he can take over for Adam Wright after this upcoming season, and that will at least help us cover it. That leaves us with 3 juniors in Tyler Graham, Brett Smart, Robbie Heath, and then as well as the new fellow in Scott Cochran, who I don't want on the team necessarily, but I'm gonna have to keep him just to meet the middle linebacker requirement. Right outside linebacker, looks like we'll have a position battle between Zach Jones and Justin Hill. We'll see what happens this one. Either way, I see Zach Jones getting some playing time in Season 6, just because we don't have a lot going on in our linebacker core. Another thing that I'm going to go ahead and do is move Jared Scott over to, free, or probably, hang on, it's either free safety or strong safety. It'll actually, yeah, this one, yeah, so for Jared Scott, I'm going to go ahead and move over to, strong safety, and he gets a 5 overall boost as well. I do like to try to have at least 3, free safeties, for each position as possible. So Jared Scott, he gets bumped up to a 53 overall. And then as for Omar Jones, I'm going to go ahead and move him over to the free safety position. And that still leaves us with 8 cornerbacks to work with, many of whom are juniors and seniors. We'll still have to work that secondary next season, but Omar Jones will always come in and either back up Clayton Harris or be the third stringer to Corey Johnson, who gets another year of development as well. Don't want to rush these guys whenever I can. Kicker will still have Jamaro Lewis. Hopefully he gets a lot of improvement to the kick power and the kick accuracy, since right now he's only he only has 67 kick power and his accuracy is even worse. So I'd love to see him have much more improvement. And then Pat Hampton, we're happy to have him on the team, 65 overall. That's certainly not bad. And he actually has 75 kick power, so maybe actually what I'm gonna do is I think I'm going to move Pat Hampton to kick. Well, never mind. Yeah, actually I'll do that, because I'm just switching the kicker and the punter, and then I'm gonna move Jamaro Lewis over to punter, and he still keeps a 60 overall, but that 67 kick power won't be as much of a detriment to our team. We'll have somebody kicking the ball farther, because I need that more out of my kickers than my punters, because if my offense is rolling, there's no need for me to punt the ball. So now I'm looking around at the training results, see what kind of progress we made as a team, and honestly, I gotta say I'm a little bit disappointed with the training results, just because there's a lot of +4s, +5s, but I was really hoping there would be more people that would come in and make a bigger jump, see a +6 or even a +7 for our offensive line. Looks like we'll have more, well, it's about the same number of 70 plus overalls on the team that we had, last season, which is fine. Kyle Luck does move up to a 76 overall, so that's nice to see. Running back, looks like we're gonna go ahead and give Lucas Coley the nod, maybe over Eli Shawagin. That's gonna be an interesting battle to watch in camp. See which person really takes that halfback position. Gonna be looking over that very closely. And then Kajaya Boyd, even though he's our third string tailback, we are going to make sure that he is specifically our kick return and punt return, just because he is so fast, and we can definitely utilize that for our team. Fullbacks are developing pretty nicely, can't complain. Andrew Green, we'll have a decent wide receiver core. Andrew Green, Alex Garcia, Santiago Fallon. Tight ends, Adrian Allen moves up to a 60 overall, and Darnell Thomas not too far behind him. Tommy Davis is a 77 overall. You love to see that. Bullock's a 69. Nice. Pierre Jones is a 69 overall. Also nice. Matt Williams 65. And we have nobody at right tackle, so that's good to see. Left end, OJ Gardner looks like going to be the new starter over there, replacing Chris Hill. He's going to be 68 overall. Whereas Corey Ford will take over on the right-hand side. He's going to be a 66 overall. Defensive tackle includes Glenn Robinson. He's a 70. Linebacker core looks, still pretty decent. Adam Wright's a 77. Tyler Graham's a 66. And then right side is Justin Hill at 64. Corners, still have that nice work. Eric Bradshaw and Gerald Oden are going to be the same overalls as what Corey Fitzpatrick and Aaron Rodgers were at 71. And, there's some nice depth behind them as well. Free safety Corey Johnson dumps up to a 64, and then Billy Mitchell is a 62. Kicker, that's Pat, and then Jamaro Lewis, he moves up to a 65 overall. His awareness only a 29. That's with the upgrade booth. That is, it's a good thing he doesn't play, anything too pressing, but he does get his kick accuracy and kick power up, but he's still the weaker of our two kickers between our kicker and punter. That's why I moved him to punter. And now, before we move into like the preseason for season 6, I'm actually kind of happy to say that we don't have to cut anybody. We have 67 players from the jump. I also figured out what those free wide receivers are, and they're not that good. They're about average compared to our team. Best is a 59 overall. So if you want to replace Tristan Singleton, Tyreek Miller, or Cameron Jordan, again, let me know. I'll make it happen. But most of them will probably redshirt. We'll see what happens though when I get to that point. But yeah, 67 players. That's who we're going to be rocking with for season 6. We are finally here, almost ready for this preseason, man. See what we got going. Starting with, the season 6 schedule. Going to start off by playing UAB and University of Louisiana Monroe, home and away respectively. Then we'll have a bye week for week 3 before hosting FIU, home of the Panthers. One more bye week, which leads to Arkansas. We're actually going to host Arkansas. We don't have to go to Arkansas. They're ranked number 20 in the nation, and that's going to be, a big matchup for us, before we get into our conference play. Nice little tune-up for us for sure. And then, we have the rest of our conference play, playing teams like, NIU, Eastern, Western Michigan, Toledo. This time, though, we'll have UMass come in. They're going to be our cross-division matchup in Week 14. We didn't have too good of a season last year, but this should be, the season where, we can take another step up. We can win, more than 8. We should be competitive in almost every game. Arkansas might give us a little bit of a tough time, but we can win almost every game. If we execute how I know we can execute, and finally, we should get to a bowl game, because we honestly should have, and now this is honestly going to be a revenge tour. to make the country regret not putting us in bowl season last year. Next up, I am going to go through some of the guys that I'm going to redshirt this season. First is Damon Shelby. He is a 5th string tailback. You know, there's a lot of talent in front of him that we want to utilize as much as we possibly can. And, you know, with him being the only freshman running back, you know, we're just going to go ahead and redshirt him, give him an extra year to develop, you know, since it's going to be a while before he's going to see the field. At wide receiver, most of the 3-star freshman receivers that decided to come in at the very last second, we're going to redshirt them. Tariq Miller is going to get redshirt. Cameron Jordan is going to get redshirt. And then Tim Weiss, he was a 1-star guy. He's going to be redshirt as well. The only guy that we had come in the last second and is, you know, is probably good. Actually, he will see some playing time. Who am I kidding? Is Tristan Singleton. You know, 6'1", 175 pounds, 59 overall. You know, decent speed. Just gotta, you know, work on that awareness as well as that fine tuning. He's going to see the field this season as a true freshman for sure. Moving on to our defense, however, we're going to go ahead and redshirt Andrew Johnson. Usually I would take a lesser player in this situation, but, you know, Matt Wilson is simply just a body. And the main reason he's on the team is because we didn't have, you know, there's only 6-7 guys on the team, so everybody counts right now. And so we're going to redshirt Andrew Johnson, and he'll take over at least as the heir apparent for, you know, for next season. Defensive tackle, gonna redshirt Ashley Brock and Thomas Lynch. You know, there's a lot of guys in front of him right now that are also freshmen. James Sapp will get some immediate playing time for sure, sitting behind Glenn Robertson, and then either him or Willie Robertson is going to take over after that, depending on how things turn out. At quarterback, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be my final redshirt, is Jordan Harris. He's our only freshman corner, and, you know, he's down there on the depth chart, so just going to go ahead and redshirt him, you know, get him ready to go for next season, since there's a lot of guys ahead of him graduating, and we're going to need him for the future of this team. Episode, I am you know, not only are we going to play this UAB matchup, take on the Blazers to start season 6, but I'll also show you the recruiting board that I am going to start off with, as well as you know, show you some of the like the underachiever boosts that I did decide to give out. You know, I like to do that since guys are you know, that are not very high overall, you know, under that 80 overall, 90 overall, you know, and still are like preseason all-conference, preseason all-Americans, since that usually doesn't happen. But I'll take care of that next episode. So until then, thank you guys so much for tuning in this whole thing. Let me know if you're excited for Season 6, as well as if you want to custom recruit for the series. This is John J. Gaming on the mic, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care, everybody.